Imagine flipping through old photographs and suddenly noticing something unsettling that you just can't explain. Faces hidden in shadows, impossible scenes frozen in time, images that leave even historians scratching their heads. Today we're diving deep into disturbing historical photos that defy all logic. Prepare yourself, because some of these images might haunt your dreams. Oh, it's weird when anti-aircraft gunners and skeptical newspaper editors all agree they saw the same thing. Hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, coastal radars pinged an object above Los Angeles. Searchlights converged, reporters captured a glowing, blimp-shaped mass hovering above Los Angeles. By dawn, damage reports tallied shattered windows and 5 civilian deaths from falling shrapnel, but no wreckage. The War Department blamed war nerves, suggesting weather balloons, yet declassified memos show generals conceded the photos were genuine and the object unidentified. Modern image enhancement reveals a solid oval reflecting multiple beams, exactly where veterans insist they saw it. Few vacation photos raise the question, did I just capture a spy who'll run a superpower? During Ronald Reagan's goodwill walk through Moscow's Red Square, White House photographer Pete Souza snapped a candid photo of the president shaking hands with schoolchildren. Looming in the background, a blonde man with a curious half smile, eerily resembling a 30-something Vladimir Putin. At the time, Putin was a KGB officer reportedly stationed in Dresden, yet KGB doctrine often embedded operatives in crowds to quiz Reagan on policy. Kremlin spokespeople dismiss the claim, but Souza insists the likeness is no coincidence. Facial recognition algorithms run by independent analysts score the similarity at a spooky 86%. Too high for comfort, too low for certainty. When your family picnic photo ends up on the desks of British intelligence and NASA, something is not right with that white figure in the background. Jim Templeton took his 5-year-old daughter Elizabeth to Burgh Marsh overlooking Scotland's Solway Firth. He shot 3 frames, and only the middle image shows a towering figure in a gleaming white suit and helmet standing directly behind Elizabeth, yet unseen by anyone present. Kodak technicians found no sign of double exposure or tampering and actually awarded Jim free film for stumping them. Weeks later, 2 men who couldn't show their credentials, Templeton dubbed them the Men in Black, grilled him on the site where the photo was taken. Around the same time, a Blue Streak missile test in Australia was aborted when range cameras allegedly picked up 2 identical spacemen on the launch pad. No one has matched the figure's attire to any RAF, Royal Navy, or NASA prototype suit of the era. 6 decades on, the Solway Spaceman still stands as Britain's most enduring photographic mystery. Imagine posing for your unit's victory portrait, only for a dead crewmate to smile over your shoulder. Taken at RAF Cranwell just days after mechanic Freddy Jackson was killed in a propeller accident, the glass plate negative shows his unmistakable face peeking between 2 airmen. Everyone in the squadron recognized him instantly. The original plate was inspected by military archivists who found no evidence of double exposure or retouching, yet Jackson's death certificate is dated 4 days before the photo session. No trick of the light explains why a man officially buried at sea appears crisp and focused among the living. Most crews watch the horizon for storms. This one watched for faces in the water. When seamen James Courtney and Michael Meehan died cleaning a cargo tank, their bodies were buried at sea. Days later, their shipmates saw 2 human faces bobbing in the froth beside the freighter. Captain Keith Tracy loaded a Kodak and caught 6 frames. The best negative was sent to Burns Detective Agency, which verified the image hadn't been tampered with and even stamped the back authentic. Oceanographers argued that white cap patterns can mimic shapes, but the silhouettes match the dead men's last crew photos right down to Courtney's broken nose. What do you do when flooring contractors keep unearthing human portraits instead of concrete dust? In the Spanish village of Bélmez, Maria Pereira noticed a stain on her kitchen floor that looked uncannily like a screaming face. When the family tried to chip it out, new faces formed, morphing week by week. National newspapers flocked in, researchers sealed the room, painted the floor with epoxy, and even removed a slab for X-ray spectroscopy. No hidden canvas, no pigment. More than 40 faces eventually appeared, some identified by locals as long-dead villagers. Skeptics blamed pareidolia, but no chemical analysis ever produced a paint recipe. You kneel to pray, click the shutter, then notice the glowing nurse hovering behind you. Diane Berthelot was recuperating from surgery, praying alone in Norfolk's 900-year-old Worstead church. Her husband Peter snapped a quick shot on Kodak 400 film, but when the print came back, a luminous figure in a white cap sat directly behind Diane. Experts at Kodak's Hemel Hempstead lab said the outline wasn't a light leak or processing flaw. Local folklore speak of a white lady healer who appears to the sick. Diane insists she felt a sudden warmth on her neck at the exact moment Peter pressed the shutter. 7 minutes of stillness turned a nameless Parisian into humanity's first photo celebrity and its greatest unknown. While testing his daguerreotype from a rooftop overlooking a boulevard, Louis Daguerre captured a solitary figure bent over what looks like a shoe shine stand. Long exposure erased every passing carriage and pedestrian, but this one man stayed still long enough to burn into history. Nearly 2 centuries later, no records reveal his identity. Was he a cobbler's client, a water pump user, a bored man on the streets? Historians have scoured census logs and trade directories to no avail. We know the birth of street photography, but not the name of its very first star. How do you prove a lost Confederate ironclad was photographed when the only evidence is a photo of a photo that might not actually exist? Civil War buffs longed for any image of the scuttled CSS Georgia. None were known until 1985, when amateur historian John Potter claimed he'd seen one at a Georgia yard sale. He couldn't afford the asking price, I guess it was an expensive yard sale, so he photographed the photograph instead. Experts who viewed his snapshot swore the vessel's features matched written descriptions. Then the original vanished. And in 2015, Potter confessed the whole tale was a hoax. Unless, he hinted, the confession itself was a second hoax hiding a very real print he planned to auction. It's like a double hoax. To this day, no one can say whether the only photo of the CSS Georgia is lost, fake, or both. Imagine discovering an entire Victorian family's holiday scrapbook without a single clue to who they were. The National Museum of Scotland's 2015 Hall of Glass Negatives included a series of beach pictures clearly taken by professional photographer W. Calder in the English resort town of Margate. Over maybe 10 summers, the same parents, 2 sons, and an infant daughter reappear, building sandcastles, posing with parasols, then aging out of the frame. No birth records, no studio ledger, and no follow-up images have surfaced. Genealogists ran the children's faces through crowd-sourced ancestry databases without a hit. For once, the camera preserves life events we can watch, but never trace. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye!